In this video we're going to see how I get on against some of the very best drivers in the European and Middle Eastern region. Hey guys, and welcome along to another video. If this is your first time here and you like watching all sorts of GT Sport related stuff, subscribe now and click the bell icon so you get notified of every video I upload and you don't miss a thing. Today's video is the next video in our Quest to be the Best series. Following on from the Beginner to Winner series, where I became an A+ ranked driver, this series follows my journey of pushing on and trying to book my ticket at the 2019 Gran Turismo World Tour. So make sure you stay tuned to the very end of the video to see whether we can move any closer to our goal. So let's get into it. In this video we're going to cover our first outing in the FIA Gran Turismo Championship, the Nations Cup 2018 off-season exhibition, season number 1. Oh, it's quite a mouthful. So this lobby is the hardest lobby I've ever been in. There you go, case in point right there. But this is the first really hard lobby that I've had since becoming an A+ ranked driver. So let's see how we get on. I managed to qualify in 8th place, 0.8 of a second off the pole time, which I am, to be honest, pretty damn happy with. But at the same time, I feel pretty nervous as well. I'm pretty much smack bang in the middle of the pack with quite a few well-known, very good, very quick drivers. Sprinkle the fact that we're at the Red Bull Ring with full damage on, it's gonna be interesting. But the main thing for me is just don't cause any damage to myself or others and see how far we are away, because for the first time in this series and on this channel entirely, we're with the best of the best. The front two drivers are the best of the best. I certainly know the guy in second place is going to be in and around the World Finals, so it's going to be a fantastic test and fantastic yardstick to see how far we are away from them. So being 0.8 off pole is one thing, really happy with that. The next thing is to see how we fare in a race. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm extremely nervous at this point, but I'm hoping those nerves will die down the more and more I see these names in the lobby. So let's not talk anymore, let's get down to business with the race. So we've got a standing start here, you can see the lights up there. I'm going to change it to traction control 1 just to get myself off the line. We're off, let's see how we get on. The guy next to us bogs down a little bit. I'm going to get out of the need for traction control and then flick back to the radar so I can see what is going on. It's all going to bunch up real tight coming into the first corner here. Calster there gets a big tank slapper on coming out the first corner, but it looks relatively clean for now. I'm going to have to get out of the throttle a little bit so I don't hit the guy in 7th, but then he's going to get a tap and round he goes going into turn number 2. There's guys absolutely everywhere. We get on the power quite well out of here. I'm choosing to take it in first gear coming out of turn number 2, revving all the way up to 70 miles an hour. That is my trigger point to change to second. So coming through turn number 3 now, we're going to get some pressure from the guy behind here. To be honest, I am not going to fight it. Through he goes. They just brake so much later than me. That is probably the main difference that I see at the moment, is the braking. They just brake so much later all the time. They're very good at trail braking and getting the front end in where I'm struggling, and that is something that we definitely have to work on. But to be honest, we haven't lost it. There was no contact at the start, which is positive number 1, and we are in 8th place where we started. So after the first lap, I'm pretty damn happy, to be honest. Coming through to complete lap number 3 here, we're staying with the guys in front. We're also fuel saving because we're going to go for an O stopper here. We're going to hope the tyres hold out, and it'll be interesting to see how we fare against all these other drivers. So trying to stay within the track limits here of turn number 1. The fellow Brit there in 9th is going to get a run on us. You can see him there next to us in the radar, and we're going to lose our place, and down to 9th we go. But he's got a massive penalty already, 4.2, 4.1 seconds. I don't know how he got that. So let's see if we can hang on to him, save a bit of fuel, but also I'm conscious of the two names that I'm very familiar with, having watched other people's YouTube videos who are coming up behind us. Fast forward now to lap number 5. We're staying with him, to be honest, and we haven't been swallowed up yet by the two guys I was worried about behind us. One of them though is, as the guy in front gets a full load of opposite lock as he gets on the loud pedal too early there. Someone though, as I said, is closing up behind us. So we're going to come through the Raunch and Worth curve, coming down towards the Rent. I don't get the best exit at all. That mistake is going to cost me. Jamie's going to go up the inside here. I'm just going to let him go. There's no point fighting it. I'm going to damage myself and potentially him, to be quite honest, if I try and hold on to that one. So after 5 laps and going on to the 6th, we are in 10th place, but by no means disgracing ourselves. I'm going to go real deep into here, get a bit overexcited there. Again, I'm still extremely nervous at this point. This is my first rodeo racing with these guys, so mistakes are going to happen, but I've just got to concentrate, do my race and just see where everything pans out at the end. So going back to our strategy while we have a minute, I am going for a non-stopper here. So as you can see, I keep checking the fuel to make sure that we got enough as we come down here into the 3rd corner. I'm going to come through, I'm going to get on the pedal a bit too early, managed to catch it though, so happy with that. However, losing a bunch of time to the two guys in front. And as you might be able to see just in the rear view, there's plenty of people behind us ready to take this position. But as I say, I am on a no stopper. I think it's just something that I'm more comfortable with, to be honest. But the 6th lap here is where I expect to see, there we go, people starting to come in. So TRL Orr is coming in. See if anybody else comes in. Yep, the Portuguese guy comes in there as well, which is going to elevate us up into 7th. But to be honest, what is going to be the next thing that's going through my mind is, as the bunch of guys up in front, someone goes off there. I don't know, didn't catch who that was, but my worries are confirmed as behind us we have TRL Orr, who on fresh tyres, a further advantage. I expect him to be right with us very, very shortly. What also isn't helping is the two guys up in front are fighting. It's not so much that they're holding me up, it's that they are distracting me, to be honest. I don't want one of them to have an issue as Jamie gets pushed out there, it would seem, by the other Brit. I'm not going to have an opportunity to go up the inside of him. It's just not a passing move there. I'm not going to chuck it up the inside at that point. I quickly am going to get a reputation for being a terrible driver with these guys if I was to pull off a move like that. But look in our rear view, we've got a rear view mirror full of TRL Orr. If he makes a move, no, he's not going to make a move at this point. Gives us a little bump, I think. But that's fine, and the two guys up ahead almost crash, and there is definitely contact coming into the pits, but they're both in, and then I'm just not going to fight this one. Through comes TRL Orr there. He says thank you with his hazards. I'm going to back down a little bit because of the issue I had a couple of laps earlier with not being able to stop. So the last thing I need to be doing is hitting him, or anyone for that matter, giving them the damage, and then ruining both our races. So lap number 8 here, coming down into the 2nd corner. We're in 4th. So things are going quite well, to be honest, and I know that the second half of the race with people on fresh rubber hunting me down, it's going to be much more difficult than we've experienced in the first. But again, we haven't disgraced ourselves by any means. We haven't made too many mistakes. We made a mistake here a couple of laps ago when we just got on the power too early. We also made a mistake coming into the first corner on one of the earlier laps, but generally things aren't looking too bad, and I don't feel completely out of my depth at this point, which is a real positive. And it was just so important to me to test myself against the best. I had never been in a lobby with the best guys, any guys who are in contention for the World Tour, which is obviously our overall aim. So now that we've got them here and we're not doing terribly, I feel really, really good about it. And of course, not all the top guys are here. I appreciate that, but it's showing that I'm not a million miles away at this point, or I probably still am a million miles away, but I'm not as far away as I thought I would be. Coming across the line now to start lap number 10, we're right with the Greek up in front, but look behind as he fuel saves the guy in front. I feel like I can't make a move, and Kauster's just gonna not lob it up the inside, but he's gonna make a robust move up the inside. I saw him coming and I lose a place to 5th. That's one thing that I have noticed also, especially with the late braking of these guys. I have also noticed as I come in real deep, and I'm going to tap Kauster a little bit there, but thankfully it hasn't disturbed his race at all really. As I was saying, alongside the late braking, what I've also noticed is these guys assume that you're going to see them coming. There's a lot of trust, which I really, really like, and I'm hoping that it's going to give me the ability to get more confident with passing, knowing that somebody isn't going to turn in and we're going to cause a big accident. But Kauster's going to go off into the distance there. We're still behind the Greek here, who's got quite a big penalty, to be honest. I'm hoping I'll be able to hang on to him and just overtake him on the line if it comes to it. But here's case in point again about the trust thing. Check out the Italian behind. For me, that move wasn't on. He's going to chuck it up the inside anyway. I give him room because I'm that kind of driver, but I still get pushed a little bit wide. If you do that in the lower ranked lobbies, no offence to anyone, but they may not have the ability or the confidence at this point to concentrate on the corner and what's around them. They will just turn straight in and it will be a massive accident, and both of our races will be ruined. So yeah, the trust thing is something that I'm learning, and I'm hoping will allow me to be more aggressive in the future. Fast forwarding a little bit further down the lap now, you can see our tyres are really hurting us here. We can't get ourselves in and out of the corner, so we've got a Portuguese guy behind us. I'm just going to let him go at this point. There's no point losing time and fighting him because there's a big bunch of guys, as you can see on the map behind, and I'm trying to hang on to every place possible. In hindsight, I maybe would have done a one-stopper, but again, as we come in to start lap number 8, it's all learning points for me. Another learning point for me is brake earlier on worn tyres. Now, I don't know what was going up in front, if the guys, because they were trying to go 2 into 1, whether the Greek guy braked a little bit earlier, but it caught me out. I braked as hard as I could, as early as I could, but there was still contact there, for which I apologise for. But what's happened now is I have been left with aero damage on the front of the car. So here comes Jamie behind us. I'm full throttle here. I don't think there's anything I'm going to be able to do. He's going to come down the outside. Again, just going to let him through. Now he's alongside. He's also got a penalty. So if I can stay anywhere near him or the Greek up in front, I might be able to pick them on the line. But that is going to be ever harder as we've got 1.5 laps left with this damage we've sustained. So we're about 1.7 ahead of the Brit in 9th. We've got just over a lap to go. Let's see if we can hold on. The answer is going to come quicker than I thought. The answer is going to be no. This guy has raced right up to our rear bumper here. We're still struggling with tyres obviously, which means we can't get into and out of corners quick enough. Definitely should have gone for the one stopper here, because it looks like we've got okay pace, to be quite honest. I'm not getting absolutely caned. This guy has also luckily got a penalty. I'm just going to look up the inside. I'm not actually going to go for it. I was just protecting myself in case he braked early and I couldn't react to it. But we're in 9th place now. If we can stay within, it's going to be tough, if we can stay within 4 or whatever seconds it is to the guys in front, we might be able to pip them on the line. I'm more hopeful about that scenario with the Greek rather than the Brit in 7th, because the Brit in 7th has got new tyres on. The Greek stayed out, I believe, and is on a no stopper like us. We've got a German right behind us. We've managed to lose a place to there. Again, not fantastic, but we're still in 10th. And we've still got the Greek in our sights. It looks like we're going to get at least 10th from this point, which in this lobby is absolutely fantastic. I'm well happy with this. You can see the Greek trying to get rid of his penalties there, so I'm going to be wary of him. There's no one to pressure us behind, so we're just going to get right out the way here, and we're going to pip him on the line to take 9th place. I'm absolutely thrilled with that. Look at the names in there. Brilliant. So now that we've seen how we're going to get on against some of the big boys and our 9th place is confirmed, let's see how it's affected our driver rating. So as you can see there, we're now up to 52,800 points, about 600 above where we were before this race. But the main thing to take out of this for me is the experience with racing some of the big boys that I'm going to have to be in and amongst if we're going to meet our goal. And for now, that's the end of the video, guys. As always, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the like button and make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks again so much for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.